UK government is throwing a lot of sanctions on Chelsea, and we have Imran here. Welcome. In times of crisis, to explain to us, from what I understand, is that UK government is throwing sanctions on Chelsea, so Chelsea cannot be sold. That means Roman cannot have any profit, right? Because the reason is that Roman is close friend of the president, the Russian president, Putin. Okay, so they cannot sell any tickets, they cannot sell any merchandise, and also they cannot make any transfers, player transfers. What else?
Recontract.
And also traveling, they are restricted on the traveling costs. If let's say they want to go Champions League games or
They
overseas,
must walk. They
yeah,
must walk.
cannot spend more than 20,000 pounds or something, or euros. Is it? Am I correct? Is that the sanction so far? Did I miss out anything?
The sanction is on the owner, Roman,
On the
as
football
a
club?
Russian oligarch. No, it's on the owner, and because the owner owns Chelsea, it's frozen.
Assets are frozen.
The assets are frozen. So his assets and Chelsea as an asset is frozen. So it applies to the, like you say, the tickets. Only the season holders can come to the games. They cannot sell the tickets, cannot sell merchandise, no contracts, no transfers, and of course the limited funds to travel.
Did we miss out anything?
I think that's about it. That's
for now, that's it. And that for now, that's it. I think FIFA will continue with the sanctions. So we'll see more in the coming hours. I don't know.
So is this FIFA? Is this English
I
FA?
think this one is,
or this is UK government?
This is UK government.
So what does Chelsea fan think about this?
We don't know what to say.
Just now you say a lot, eh?
Yeah lah. Now you press record and broadcast. What to say? The cancel culture now too strong, you know.
Because last week, was it just that that we asked ourselves, should football and politics mix?
Yeah,
because Roman has already released a statement last week, right? That he wants to sell, and the profits actually doesn't go to him; it goes to Ukraine victims through a charity organization, that kind of thing. So then we were asking ourselves, is it fair? And second is, should football and politics mix? Because do you think it's fair just because you are friends of the Russian president? There's a lot of sanctions on you. And he contributed a lot, right, to Chelsea.
Yeah, to me, if you know your owner is doing this, right? Okay, we were talking about sports washing last week, I think. And the thing is, I think Chelsea is not the only club that is being used, I think, for sports washing lah. There are other owners in other leagues, not just the Premier League, that is also probably trying to get rid of money, in this kind of way by investing in sports. So if you are a club or you are a fan of a club, right? If this day comes, Chelsea kena, right? If this day comes, you know that there is a risk there. So, like for me, I'm thankful that I know FSG. Who knows lah? Usually, business owners they usually have this kind of dealings, that at the back door you may not know, right? But so far, the model that FSG is approaching, we are trying to be as liquid as possible. We don't buy players until we sell what we have. So we're trying to balance the books as much as possible. That's where I think is a good model to follow lah. But then again, we have clubs which is of recent success like Manchester City, Chelsea, PSG from League One, who is actually following the model where they have very, very strong investors and owners who can just pump in the money. And being a fan, right, you'll be happy. But of course, there's the element of risk there. Your owners is doing this kind of thing at the back end, but it's just that you never gonna caught lah. So that's the risk there as a fan, which a lot of fans may not be taking this into account. So fair or not, right? I think it is it is fair if everybody turns a blind eye to everything. But now it comes into account that last time when we're talking about Palestine, we're talking about the Uyghurs who is being marginalized. You know, these people who are actually being trodden upon in the country, right? Oh, we don't support politics. We don't mix politics with sports. Then when it comes to Ukraine, people in Europe, they say another story. So to me, that's not fair. If you want to be fair, turn a blind eye to everybody, means don't care. Just continue sports.
That's your point, right? My point is, let's say put aside the wars. War is not good, but put aside Palestine or all the different countries or communities that is being marginalized, right? Is it fair for you to get sanctioned just by being a friend of Putin? Right? Is Roman actually contributing money towards the war or contributing money to the Russian army? Is he just a friend? Is he just a friend? Is it, is there more to it, or is there less to it? Or are they overthinking it?
Actually.
Are they, you think?
Yeah,
what do you think, Imran?
I think there's a lot of things or permutations. First and foremost, Roman is a businessman. Okay, so what he does at the back, whether he got kickbacks or whatever, that we are not privy with. Okay, so if he's being linked to Putin or allegedly, that one they need to really come out and really say, okay, I'll give the evidence, blah blah blah. He's supporting the war. Fair enough, he is. Then you go and charge him likewise. But this pick and choose policy of now Russia, okay, and because it's Roman, it's the easiest target. And to be honest, this is not the first time. Roman visa for UK has not been renewed since 2018. So he hasn't come back for any games since 2018. So that's 4 years ago. So this, like small sanctions or small restrictions, it's there since I don't know whether it's linked to the 2-year ban of transfer that we had also. So and then Roman himself has a Israeli passport, so his passport allows him to come back to UK on that basis for a social visit, I think for 6 months or 9 months per entry. So I don't know, it's a pick and choose policy. So do you want to get politics involved in sports? If yes, then you do it consistently. If not,
exactly,
you don't do it. So in terms of whether this sanction is fair, on a personal level, yeah, if you think he's supporting the war and it's against your country's policy, by all means, go ahead. But make sure it's not a double standard. I'm also concerned whether this is because Chelsea is a big team. What if Roman is handling a small Bournemouth team or Norwich? Will it create the same hoo-ha? We don't know.
There's another team who is actually being involved also. Investor, it's Everton.
No,
Everton's investor is also
not,
being.
Yeah, but that's just sponsorship. It's not ownership anymore. So he was the ex-owner for Arsenal, Usmanov, I think. So he had a sponsor stake in Everton. I think Everton also sent out a statement recently, a few hours back, that they are distancing themselves from him. So it's like us back in 9/11 days, where somebody did something and everybody get painted with the same paint. If you ask me whether it's fair, yeah, fair if it's really directly involved and you can, and it affects your country's policy, but do not be part of the cancel culture and the FOMO culture where everybody,
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO. So, since he never say anything means he is pro something. If people don't say anything means it doesn't mean anything. If he say he's pro war, he hasn't done so yet. So for the fans,
what does it mean for the fans?
For the fans, right now it's still early period because we just received the news. So there's a lot of speculations on how the club will move. Will the club be having more sanctions, because this is only the UK government, European government, or UEFA haven't even come in and be part of the
Yeah.
four more team.
Or you think there are
So
opportunists out there who's just taking the situation and say, hey, let's Chelsea is vulnerable, Roman is vulnerable, let's
they,
put sanctions so that he
yeah,
can pay us some money.
I don't know about that, but
Conspiracy.
there's a lot of things that we can come up with. Right, there's also that some people will say, okay, they might want to hide themselves from the bigger picture, so they put all the pressure, all the spotlight on certain clubs that's already in distress. You know, we have some clubs that also have been spending, but you see they are always in the red, but they keep spending and having new players with high wage bills. Okay.
Who are you talking about? City,
No, I don't know.
Barcelona.
Yeah,
No.
Barcelona is one of them.
Barca, Juve, Real. You know,
Mm.
you know. So we don't talk about them lah. I talk about my own club. So for our side, we were here before Roman. We will be here after Roman. You know, we were here before in 1994 when Glenn Alder took over, and then we were blessed to have Roman who pump in money and glamorizes EPL. And don't forget that we bring in a lot of players, and also instead of a 2-horse race, we make it a 6-horse race, make it exciting for everyone. So you cannot put away that legacy as well. And also, I think on a personal note, I think Roman also being hard done by. 2018, he got his visa not cancelled, not extended or not renewed. But when COVID hits, he sponsored the government for UK for the National Health Services for their stay, in the front line. So 2 hotels were booked from 2020 to right now, I think, just to support the frontliners, just to keep them on the wage bill, so nobody get sacked, even for our club and our foundations. The charity foundations, we got a lot, also spearheaded by him since 2010. We also got a lot more stuff going on. Yeah,
That's why I feel
so
it's a bit unfair from an outside point of view, from an Arsenal fan point of view, or maybe EPL. He has contributed a lot. He was one of the first few who came in to make the EPL exciting. You're right. He brought in the players, and he had no other agenda, right? He came in and he is one of those genuine clubs who really put in a lot into the club, into the EPL, into around the areas around the club as well. Unlike maybe Manchester United owners who comes in with a bank loan and just treating Manchester United as a cash cow. I think he's one, but people are still treating him like this.
Because he's the easiest right now, and because he's attached to Chelsea. Like I say, if he's attached to Burnley, he won't be so loud like this.
But just for saying that the fans who are thinking of, staging protests.
Not that I heard of, but we are silently just at this moment, people are still in disbelief and said, here we go again, things against us again. So it's not the first time we always get thrown things, but again, we'll see how lah. Let's see. But what I know, the solidarity with from the fans with Roman is quite strong. So we are behind him, not because he is not anti-war on the Ukraine. That's on the political level, but on what he has done for the club for the past 20 years.
We cannot blame all of the Chelsea fans. That, to me, right, it's like a lot of the fans are football fans, right? They themselves think Roman as an owner, not in terms of political link. No. Yes, there are. If you read about it, there are some links that Roman's factory in Russia is actually manufacturing steel to actually supply these elements or this metal for them to produce weapons and all that for Putin, right? But the thing is, right, that is on the back end. Okay, yes, he does. He has link with Putin. He's a supporter of Putin's regime and all that. But like I say, like it's a balance, lah. I mean, we cannot blame all Chelsea fans. There are some Chelsea fans who will come out and say, like, who cares about this? Who cares about Ukraine? Who cares about? It's not about that, right? Most of them are supporters of football, and they are supporters of Chelsea Football Club. It's just that, like Imran says, the owner is actually the easiest target. The club is the easiest target. So they want somebody to blame. They just want to find somebody to make an example of. And this is the easiest example for them to state. So the sanction is on him. So to me, it's like, I feel like we ourselves, let's say example, we can be the ones who denounce, oh no lah, if you are Chelsea football fan, you must be accountable. You cannot be this, you whether it's you support Roman or you support Putin or not. It's not so easy for you to judge.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna stress that we know him as a businessman. We do not know him as a nationalist. If he is, right, there's nothing that always link him to certain thing. In fact, he has, like I said before, he has 2 passports. So, his loyalty might be split between Russia and Israel itself. So, but then that we don't care at all. Not that we don't care about other things in the world, but we care about, like we all agree on, we agree on loving football, right? So again,
that's okay. That's fine.
Let's just ask everybody who's a fan of a football club, what is the politic affiliation of your owner? Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Exactly. This is the tough question.
Yep,
if we ask all owners, right, like just now I say, each owner, you may not know what's the dealings they have at the back. So who's to say your owner is as clean as anybody else?
I was thinking that maybe the justification is not enough. They are putting in sanctions, but the reason they say is that he has close ties with Putin. You know, I would feel that if you are putting a lot of sanctions on this fella who has contributed a lot in that 20 years for the club, you would have come up with something more with evidence, listing down
concrete,
that,
right?
or concrete evidence. You are doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this.
You
know?
It is so weak. So weak. It's like we all will get involved if we are TikTok followers of Putin.
Yeah, right. That's you're right. That's the same thing.
I actually like some videos about Putin.
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We all like
the one on the
certain
horse, is
aspect,
it?
not
The one on the house.
Yeah, horse lah. Some other videos lah.
The one wrestling with the bear? That one Photoshop.
That's Khabib.
That's Khabib. But yeah, I mean, I think like they are just painting everything with the same brush, which is wrong lah to me lah.
I feel the evidence or the reason they give, I don't accept it.
Flimsy,
Just
like,
being
very
close. Yeah, yes, you're right. It's very flimsy. If it comes down to football, the reason is football. I think is whatever is happening doesn't seem right. Such a broad, very broad and general brush that they are painting. Yeah.
Why now?
Why now? You say he has been going on.
Yeah, since 2018, you don't even renew his visa for whatever reason. No. So why now? So why not 2019 or 2020?
Now is the opportunity lah, because of this attack on Ukraine lah. They just find a good reason. Yeah, they just find a good reason to apply this. And now we're talking about politics really, rather than talking about football.
Yeah.
Because at this moment, right, this uncertainty about Chelsea may or may not affect everybody, down to the fans. I am on Twitter. Some of the Chelsea fans are actually saying they want to protest at Stamford Bridge. Some of them are being ridiculed by some other fans. You know,
I tell you that's going to be true. You know, so like everybody is being painted with the same brush. You're gonna see that when we go enter the stadium or away stadium, the away fans will banter and say, "Oh, you're part of the Russian army." So where does it leave us?
But it's the same as saying, I mean, in our country, a lot of Russian restaurant owners are saying, no, don't treat us as if we support the
Exactly.
war, or
Yeah,
treat
yeah, yeah,
us
yeah, yeah.
that
Correct.
you come to our restaurant, you eat our food, and that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, not all Russians support the war, not all Russians are against the war. There's different types of Russians, right? So
Yeah,
why
exactly.
can't we
Even
treat
in
this the same?
even in the same club, you have people of different political inclinations.
Yeah.
Some might agree
Mm.
that this is right or this is wrong, or this is a gray area. I want to abstain commenting. You know, like I say, we just focus on the football, then let it out. But then just because it's owned by a individual that the government wants to target, then of course the tempias, or the effect gets on to the people who's associated with the club.